Listen closely because what I'm about to share isn't comfortable, it isn't politically correct, and it sure isn't being broadcast in the headlines you're scrolling past. The real war is for your focus, not just territory. In a world dominated by screens, alerts, and media algorithms, attention has become the most valuable commodity. Governments, corporations, and influencers all compete for it daily because where attention goes, energy flows and money follows. The battles we see on the surface, nations in conflict, political upheaval, or social outrage, are often a cover, a surface level distraction, while the real power players manipulate narratives behind the scenes. When people are emotionally hijacked by fear, anger, or tribal loyalty, they stop thinking critically. That's the moment they become easy to control, easy to sell to, easy to program. The Iran conflict isn't just about borders or religion, it's about who can capture the global spotlight and direct the collective consciousness of the world. Headlines are written to spark reaction, not reflection. Each explosion, every retaliatory statement, each viral video is crafted to draw your eyes, your outrage, your time. It's no longer about winning territory on a map. It's about owning real estate in your mind. And the truth is, those in power know that if they can dominate your focus, they don't need to dominate your land. Control the narrative and you control the population. The longer you're caught up in the noise, the less time you have to focus on your own goals, your own freedom, your own growth. The war being played out on screens has subtle casualties: clarity, discipline, self-mastery. If your thoughts are filled with anxiety over world affairs that are selectively reported and strategically angled, then your ability to lead yourself and others deteriorates. Your emotional state becomes reactive instead of proactive. This is exactly where the real war is won or lost. And the most dangerous weapon today isn't a missile or drone. It's misinformation, misdirection, and mental manipulation. And it all hinges on your attention. If you give it away freely, if you let your phone, the news, and social media set your agenda for the day, you've already surrendered the most valuable ground you'll ever own: your mind. The players behind the scenes don't need to knock down your door or hack your systems if they've already hacked your habits, your reactions, and your patterns of thought. Fear is the most profitable product in global conflict. It sells headlines, drives policies, inflates budgets, and manipulates public opinion. When people are afraid, they stop questioning. They comply, they consume, they obey. Fear creates urgency, and urgency eliminates critical thinking. That's why in every major conflict, fear is manufactured, amplified, and weaponized. It becomes the invisible thread woven into every news report, social media post, and government speech. In the Iran-Israel war narrative, fear is the lever being pulled to push agendas that have nothing to do with safety and everything to do with power. When citizens are fearful, they support military budgets without questioning the return. They accept surveillance without asking about their rights. They cheer for censorship without realizing they're silencing themselves. This isn't accidental, it's intentional. War is expensive, but fear is cheap and incredibly effective. A single image, a brief video clip, or a manipulated headline can send millions into emotional overdrive. That emotional reaction translates into predictable behavior: more screen time, more engagement, more division. And where there is division, there is control. Those who profit from conflict understand that fear doesn't just paralyze, it polarizes. It turns neighbor against neighbor, breeds suspicion, and keeps people too emotionally exhausted to focus on what truly matters. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, deals are signed, alliances shift, resources are seized, and influence expands. The public remains fixated on the fear, blind to the strategy unfolding behind the curtain. It's a system built on distraction, and fear is its fuel. Politicians use it to win elections. Media outlets use it to boost ratings. Defense contractors use it to justify contracts. And the average person is left in a constant state of anxiety, unable to discern reality from rhetoric. Fear has become a currency, and the more of it they can generate, the more control they gain. People rarely realize they're being sold something when it comes in the form of a warning. But every warning, every urgent alert, every dramatic headline is a sales pitch. And the price being paid isn't just financial, it's psychological, emotional, and spiritual. It rewires how people see the world, how they treat others, and how they value their own potential. In the game of global influence, fear is not a byproduct of war. It's a strategy deployed to win the war long before the first shot is fired. While nations clash, powerful interests make silent moves. Behind the visible chaos of warfare and political tension lies a hidden layer of activity that most people never see. It's not the missiles or the tanks that determine the outcome of modern conflicts. It's the contracts, the boardroom meetings, the quiet handshakes between billionaires and policymakers. As the world watches news cycles filled with destruction and rhetoric, backdoor negotiations are shaping the real future. These aren't temporary decisions, they're strategic plays that lock in control for years or even decades. Resources like oil, gas, rare minerals, and tech infrastructure are the real prizes. And while everyone is busy arguing about ideology or sovereignty, these assets are being secured with surgical precision. Massive corporations and investment firms capitalize on instability, buying assets at a discount, securing favorable trade terms, or lobbying for laws that benefit their industries under the guise of national security. It's a chessboard, not a battlefield. And the pieces being moved aren't soldiers, they're systems, regulations, and financial frameworks. These interests don't need a flag or a nation. They operate above borders, using war as a catalyst to reshape economies and tighten their grip on global influence. While politicians speak of peace and morality, economic empires are expanding quietly, untouched by the emotional toll of conflict. The media rarely highlights these moves because the spotlight is intentionally aimed elsewhere. The spectacle of war keeps people glued to the drama while the real power shifts take place in shadows. Currency values, interest rates, stock markets, these become tools in the hands of those who understand the mechanics of perception and fear. Cybersecurity firms, defense contractors, energy giants, they all know how to read the map behind the map, and they don't just react to war, they anticipate it, prepare for it, and in some cases benefit from its continuation. They don't need to fight battles with bullets when they can win with influence, legislation, and financial pressure. While the average person feels powerless and overwhelmed, these powerful interests feel focused and in control. And the less people are aware of what's really happening, the more effective the system becomes. Because when eyes are fixed on explosions, no one's watching the exchanges happening in conference rooms, the signatures on global agreements, the slow erosion of sovereignty in the name of stability. Critical thinking is your defense against manipulation. In a world saturated with curated headlines, viral sound bites, and emotionally charged narratives, your ability to question what you see, hear, and believe becomes your most valuable asset. It's not enough to consume information. You have to challenge it, dissect it, and understand the motivations behind it. Propaganda doesn't always come waving a flag or shouting lies. Sometimes it shows up in the form of partial truths, selective reporting, or emotionally persuasive language designed to bypass your logic and trigger your instincts. Without critical thinking, people become repeaters, not thinkers. Amplifying ideas they don't fully understand, reacting to threats they can't verify, and aligning with causes they haven't investigated. The Iran war, like many modern conflicts, is wrapped in layers of messaging that are carefully engineered to evoke fear, loyalty, anger, and confusion. But when you begin to slow down and ask the hard questions, who benefits from this message? What's missing from this narrative? Why is this story being pushed right now? You start to take back control of your perspective. Critical thinking is about pattern recognition, not paranoia. It's about developing the discipline to pause before reacting, the courage to stand apart from the emotional majority, and the awareness to see that some of the loudest voices are not always the most truthful. The moment you blindly trust a headline or adopt a popular opinion without examining its roots, you've handed over your mind to someone else's agenda. True freedom is the ability to think independently in a world that rewards conformity. Governments, corporations, media outlets, they don't need to silence you if they can simply distract you or convince you that questioning is dangerous. Critical thinking cuts through that. It sees beyond the theater of politics and looks for the mechanics beneath the performance. It asks not just what is happening, but why is it happening, who gains, and what are the long-term consequences. When you sharpen your ability to analyze, connect dots, and stay intellectually agile, you make yourself resilient to manipulation. The strongest individuals aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who question everything, learn relentlessly, and refuse to let emotion be their only compass. In times of conflict and confusion, the person who can think clearly becomes the one others look to for direction, clarity, and truth.